Thank you for joining us on CoreTV News at 4. I am Frank Omalape, and here's some of the stories we're filing now. The Army has denied having the school certificate of the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Muhammadu Buhari. Army spokesman Olajide Laleye told journalists in Abuja that it only has a letter of recommendation from the principal of the school attended by the retired general. He added that the Army, however, has the admission form filled in which the former head of state indicated that he obtained credit in 4 subjects and a pass.
Gentlemen of the press, let me state clearly that the Nigerian Army holds the retired senior officer in very high esteem and respect, and would not be a party to any controversy surrounding his eligibility for any political office. Suffice to state that Major General Buhari rose steadily to the enviable rank of Major General in the Nigerian Army before becoming the head of state of our dear country in December 1983. However, the media hype on retired Major General Muhammadu Buhari's credentials, as well as the numerous requests made by individuals and corporate bodies to the Nigerian Army on this issue of his credentials, have necessitated that we provide the facts as contained in the retired senior officer's service record. Now, the records available indicate that Major General Muhammadu Buhari applied to join the military as a Form 6 student of the Provincial Secondary School, Katsina, on 18 October 1961. His application was duly endorsed by the principal of the school, who also wrote a report on him and recommended him to be suitable for military commission. The selection board verifies the original copies of the credentials that are presented. However, there is no available record to show that this process was followed in the 1960s. Nevertheless, the entry made on the Nigerian Army Form 199A at the point of documentation after commission as an officer indicated that the former head of state obtained the West African School Certificate in 1961 with credits in relevant subjects, namely English language, geography, history, health science, Hausa, and then a pass in English literature. However, neither the original copy, the certified true copy, that is CTC, nor the statement of result of Major General Muhammadu Buhari's West African School Certificate result is in his personal file.
The All Progressive Congress says its presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari, is qualified to contest next month's presidential election, even if the Army says it is not in possession of a certificate. It also warns that those seeking to destroy Buhari on the basis of his certificates may end up destroying the country's military as well. Speaking on Tuesday through its spokesman, Lai Mohammed, the party alleged that the People's Democratic Party and the Jonathan administration were playing a dangerous game by trying to compromise the military in order to satisfy political objectives. It urged the military, as a symbol of national unity, to be wary of those who might be seeking to use it to achieve selfish and divisive ends. The APC said the statement credited to Olajide Laleye, Army spokesman, at a press conference in Abuja, that the Army was not in possession of the Buhari certificate was in direct conflict with what he said on January 4 on the same issue. The party argued that in an interview with The Punch on January 4, Laleye had said every serving and retired Army officer had at least a copy of his certificate kept with Nigeria Army, while the same serving and retired officer had copies of those same certificates. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, has made a formal request to Provincial Secondary School Kaduna to release his West African School Certificate results. He also insisted that he graduated from the school, which is now known as Government College Kaduna, alongside the late Shehu Yaradua and a former president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Umaru Abdullahi, in 1961. Buhari said at a news conference in Akano that he made the request because he was surprised the army headquarters has no record of his certificates.
Much to my surprise, we are now told that although a record of the result is available, there are no copies of the certificates in my personal file. This is why I formally requested my old school, the Provincial Secondary School Kaduna, which is now known as Government College Kaduna, to make available the school's copy of the result of the Cambridge West African School Certificate. This will be made available to the press the moment this is available. However, before we obtain that, let me say for the record that I attended Provincial Secondary School Kaduna. I graduated in 1961 with many prominent Nigerians, including General Sheikh Musa Adwa, former Chief of Staff and Supreme Headquarters, and Justice Umar Abdullahi, a former President of the Court of Appeal. We sat for the University of Cambridge WASC examination together in 1961, the year we graduated. My examination number was 8200002, and I passed the examination in the second division.
APC candidate General Muhammadu Buhari. Away from that now, unidentified political thugs on Tuesday attacked the convoy of President Goodluck Jonathan in Katsina State during the continuation of his re-election campaign. The presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, is from the state. Trouble started when Jonathan, accompanied by Vice President Namadi Sambo, National Chairman of the PDP, and Damu Mozo, and Governor Ibrahim Shema of Katsina State, among others, decided to pay a courtesy visit to the late President Umaru Yaradua's mother, Haji Dada, as the president and members of his entourage made their way into the Yaradua quarters. The brooms widened youth who were suspected to be members of the APC, chanting inside Buhari, "Search forward." Security agents had a hectic time dispersing the crowd. The youth regrouped and again moved to attack the president's convoy as he was ready to leave the resident after the visit. Security agents fired tear gas and starts to disperse the youths to allow vehicles in the convoy speed off. As the presidential delegation made their way towards the Katsina airport, the youth hurled stone at the convoy. No case of injury was, however, reported. While addressing a rally earlier at the National Youth Civic Corps orientation camp in the state capital, Jonathan had attributed his presidency to the late president, who he said chose him as the vice president in 2007. For this reason, the president promised to always meet the needs of the people of the state before they ask for it. A coalition of 60 civil society groups in the country has described the recent front-page advert in select national newspapers as a breach of the Abuja Accord signed by the leading presidential candidate. The Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room says the wraparound advert, which were allegedly paid for by the Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose, falls into the category of hate speech. The coalition said in a statement issued in Abuja that it was disappointed that such a publication could emanate from a highly placed political office holder. It equally condemned the newspaper, which published the advertisement for violating their duty of promoting national cohesion at a critical time in the country. And now the Kwara State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has accused the All Progressive Congress of plans to rig the forthcoming general elections. Making the accusation at the inauguration of its campaign committee, the PDP accused the APC of buying voter cards for the purpose of malpractices ahead of the general elections. Our correspondent Rashid has more.
The Kwara PDP kickstarts its various campaigns in the state on a firebrand note. The party, which claims a united front, accuses the ruling APC of plans to rig the forthcoming elections.
That has no hope of winning the election, that will rely solely on rigging, because the people of Kwara have said they don't want them again. It's no longer fighting. We are not quarreling among ourselves. the event that happened during the primary is normal in democracy. After the somebody has emerged, all others have come together to work with that person and assure that we control the government of Kwara State by February or by May this year.
Chairman of Kwara PDP, Iyola Oyedepo, who describes the governorship tenures of Bukola Saraki and Abdul Fattah Ahmed as questionable, says the PDP is now poised to occupy the Kwara government house.
That has been in place for 12 years. We need to now hold them accountable. To buy fund for 12 years, they need to account for SOPI fund for 4 or 5 years, and several other things that they need to account for. So if they now tell you that they have gone far, they have not gone far at all. Within a very short time, we shall not only meet them, we shall overtake them. And we are going to hold them accountable for their years in the service of Kwara. Swear on your farm that by the grace of God, I will work out to secure victory for PDP.
With Bola Shagaya as Chairman Advisory Committee, Shuaib Abdurrahman Oba as Chairman of the Campaign Committee, and John Dara as the Director General, the PDP says it is ready to roll out issue-based campaigns ahead of February polls.
The time has come for the PDP campaign train to now start rolling and moving all over Kwara State. The people of Kwara State have been waiting for this moment when the campaign train will roll out. Now we have the mandate of the leadership of the party to keep going. And I tell you, there will be no dull moment until victory is won.
What kind of campaign should people expect from you now that the campaign of calumny has actually precipitated?
Our campaign will be based on issues. It will be based on facts. It will be based on the reality on the ground in Kwara State. For us in Kwara State, we are confident.
The PDP, according to some observers, no doubt have an uphill task ahead to wrestle power from the ruling APC as the February battle date draws near. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilori.
You're watching CoreTV News at 4. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more stories after this time out. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
If you just joined us, this is CoreTV News at 4, broadcasting live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. For more information on our news and other programs, like our Facebook page, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. And you can also follow at CoreTV News NG. And our YouTube page is www.youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then News. And now the Independent National Electoral Commission says only duly registered internally displaced persons in northeast Nigeria will be allowed to vote. INEC Chairman Atahiru Jega disclosed this at a stakeholders meeting in Abuja. The special centers will be created for IDPs in Borno, Yobe and Adamawa State. He added that only those within the 3 states can participate in the elections. Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima has hailed the steps taken by the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure that people displaced by Boko Haram activities are not disenfranchised. He told journalists on the sidelines of a stakeholders meeting in Abuja that INEC has so far lived up to expectations.
The most important thing is that elections will be held in Borno. I don't really want to dissipate our useful time and energy on unnecessary recriminations on why it should be held. Elections will be held. Only people with voters' cards are eligible to vote. And that's the most important thing. All other issues can be sorted out at the local stakeholders level.
Leaders of the All Progressive Congress have again warned their supporters in northern Nigeria to shun all acts of violence in the run-up to the February's polls. This comes against the backdrop of tension and fears of re-election campaign. The party's governorship candidate in Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, told CoreTV News that APC will continue to urge its sympathizers to play by the rules.
Clearly, we are winning in Kaduna. There is no problem at all. The PDP is losing out. They know it. And they are getting desperate. They are hoping that there will be pre-election violence so that they can militarize the state and write the results that they want, because they know they cannot win free and fair elections. So our strategy is to call on our supporters and voters to remain focused, don't respond to any abuse or insults, do not retaliate when attacked. Just keep your voters card on election day, vote them out. That's the solution. Fighting is not the solution. Being violent is not the solution. Okay, that's what they want. That's their only winning strategy. So we are not going to get drawn into that, and we've told our supporters, and I constantly appeal to our supporters and voters not to get drawn into that, and to remain peaceful and law-abiding, because on the 14th of February and 20th of February, we will use the only weapon we have, which is our voters' card, to vote them out of office.
The National Broadcasting Commission is demanding professional reportage and coverage by broadcasters before, during, and after the elections in February. This was the thrust of a message delivered at a one-day sensitization meeting on political broadcasting for journalists and other stakeholders in Abuja Zone. NBC maintains that airing station will be liable to serve sanctions if they breach provisions of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code. Our correspondent Basi Aye has more.
The meeting was a gathering of broadcast professionals in the Abuja Zone. It is one in the series organized by the regulatory body to set the tone for political reporting, especially as elections draw near. NBC says the meeting is meant to avoid a repeat of what led to 35 broadcast stations being sanctioned after the 2011 elections for various breaches.
Forget the ethnic politics, forget the religious politics, and let's face the politics of issues. You are to drive the campaign. Don't let the politicians drive it. Tell them how we want to go. And we know what the issues involved are. Let's not talk about the personalities. Let's talk about the issues.
In view of this, the regulators say the code must be strictly complied with to forestall a repeat.
At the end of the day, we want to go back to our jobs. At the end of this election, we would like to go back to our jobs and continue to inform people across the country, continue to do our work as professionals. So if we lend ourselves to politicians or to the political climate that creates an environment that leads to violence, then I think we'll be doing ourselves a great disservice.
The Commission wants media practitioners to avoid relying on unconfirmed information from the social media in the course of carrying out their task. NBC is also demanding editorial responsibility.
All programs, all political programs, all must understand, must observe the provisions of the code from the beginning of the code to the end. You must put those thoughts of the code from the beginning of a program to the end. It must be truthful, it must be decent, it must be legal, and all that stuff. Those basic characters must be there. It must be truthful, it must be decent, no obscenity, and you must not raise temperatures. It must be identifiable. We must know who is talking. It must be recognized. There must be no hearsay. You must take editorial responsibility.
The regulatory body stressed need for media owners and managers to ensure that those in their employ are knowledgeable on the workings of the industry. The Abuja end of the sensitization meeting has come and gone, but the Commission hopes that by the time it takes its campaign across the country, Nigeria would record responsible broadcast of the February elections. Basia Ye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
And that's a wrap on CoreTV News at 4 minutes. Thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. Bye for now.